Okay, we're in Hermann, Missouri for the Hermann Plein Air event. And this is my scene today that I'm going to try to capture. You see there's a little bit of a water element in the foreground with these trees. And then as you go back, you see the country with the fields. And there's a couple of farmhouses, I guess. The roofs are really shining the sun, reflecting the sun there. And then we got these wonderful hills behind there, and also a wonderful lit sky today. It is extremely hot. I am going to probably use a couple of those buildings, or at least one of those, as maybe the focal point with some trees out there. Since the theme is the horizon, I'm looking at horizon lines and trying to make sure that I think actually the theme is beyond the horizon. And so I'm thinking of trying to create a painting that has a lot of depth to it. I want to push back some of those hills and get a sense of a distinct foreground going into the background. And then the focal point will be back there, probably that one building right now, kind of in the center of this shot. All right, so I've already done my sketch of what this might look like. And it doesn't have to be much, just some of the big shapes. So I'm, as you can see, with the shrubbery on either side, the right and the left in the foreground, kind of serving as a frame to focus in. So we're thinking of a composition that's more like an O. I want to get the viewer to kind of look around the painting in the middle. So that's where most of my emphasis is going to be today. And we'll see how this turns out. So the first step is going to be using my palette here. I've got burnt umber, which is that brown. I'm going to sketch in the lights and the darks with a little bit of that and Gamsol, and then I'll show you from there. All right, hold on just a second. Okay, now I've turned my sketch basically into a blueprint now on my, I'm working with a 12 by 16 canvas panel today. And so I've gone ahead and darkened my darkest darks and sort of connected them. So we're going for sort of an O composition, which I want to draw folks into the center of the painting and have points of interest in this whole center area that keep the viewer going in this direction. So I'm framing the painting with some of these trees that are in the foreground here, which will be much darker, perhaps even than this, and then going out. So you see the foreground trees right in this area here, and then out there we've got some hills. So we got those hills incorporated here. I've rearranged some of the trees and the two buildings out there to supply a little bit of interest. So those buildings, I've left space here and here for where those rooftops are going to go in. Just suggest that this is a farm. And then we got some different colors in the fields here. This orangish field looks pretty good, and that will give us a nice relief from all of the green. And then we got some nice, real saturated crisp greens in this foreground area, and then we're going to lighten, we're going to push back the other. Like I said, the theme for this event is beyond the horizon, and so I really like this particular horizon. It gives us a sense of Hermann's rich heritage and farmland and why people settled here along the Missouri River. And so let's take it from here and see what goes. I'm probably going to start with my darks today and work towards the lights. We'll see if that works. All right, so we're looking at that scene today. And okay, so I've taken the sketch and now I have added some dark greens. So you had some dark purples actually underneath these in the foreground. I left my burnt umber darks in the midground alone. I didn't want to make them too dark because it's receding back, right? And so also made sure that we want the trees to have more depth, right? And they're they are vertical, and so the strokes are more vertical in these trees. And then you'll notice that the ground plane, of course, horizontal strokes give the illusion of flat ground. And so with the burnt umber underneath, it kind of looks like we're going over the dirt with the grass. So I'm pretty happy with it right now. I've left spots for the lighter shades, which are going to be the reflections. Once I do the sky, then I will do the water element down here. And then the last things I'll probably approach today are the very lightest, which are the rooftops of a couple of buildings on this farm. So, and then I've got this hill line that needs to recede with some greens that are a little lighter than the other one. So we're going to work our way back with the darkest darks, and then we'll tackle the sky and the lighter elements. And the goal here at this point in time, as you probably already know, is to fill the canvas with color. Then we will worry about any details. Too often we put too many details, and I find through experience that it does not really take a lot of details to make a painting pop. Your eyes can only focus on one area, and so we're wanting an impression of the scene. So we'll see if I can pull this off, and I'll give you another update as we go along. Okay, I've now finished covering the entire canvas, so it is now a matter of a few details. This is where, of course, you gotta slow down considerably. I think this is working. That we've got an O pattern here in the middle to kind of bring you up through this little bitty water feature to the barn and the other little building back here, and then with these nice middle ground trees. So the foreground is darker, the middle ground seems to pop out, and then we've got in the background these receding hills, and then just a plain sky at this point. But now, as you can tell, there's actually some nice white fluffy clouds that have come into play. And so I know I want to add some of those clouds into that space there so it's not so boring. And that's probably all I need to do. What I've learned is that oftentimes less is so much more. You just have to suggest things. This is an impressionistic painting. It's not meant to be highly detailed. There is a fence there. I'm not going to put it in. I like the transition well enough between the greens, and they're just slight, but I think it's effective to call your attention into the painting. I think I may touch up a few of the edges here on the foreground trees to make them a little bit less rigid, and give them a little bit of softer approach there. Don't think I want to do too much here because I don't want to take the focus off of of right here where all the action is happening. So I might also, I'm thinking about the edges on these distant areas. I don't think I want any more detail back there because I think it's working to create distance. And if I go in there with some other color to try to represent some more trees or something back here, I think it'll just distract your eye. So I'm going to leave the temptation alone and not do that. So clouds, finishing some of these edges up, and that's probably it. So let's see how I can do with that and then sign the painting. Okay, so I added some clouds in the sky. I think that it fills in that space, but not calling too much attention to it. I straightened up the edges here. I want them to be very soft, but so I think that's effective there. And then I also reworked the edges around my frame of the foreground with the darker trees, softened up the little reflection on this little pond down here. Don't want to call too much attention to that space because I want the viewer's eye to go and stay right in this circle area where we got that red against the green, really pops and pulls you in. And I think the stroke shows some confidence. I don't think it's overworked yet, and so it's time to stop. So thanks again for watching this video. Once again, this is from the Hermann Plein Air 2026 event.